So now I will go ahead and import the exported meshes from Blender. First file we have here is our castle main, so I'll just go ahead and select all of these and just open these up inside these. Just select import all and it should be absolutely fine. Now we'll go ahead and we'll open up, we'll select our castle main, right click and create a blueprint using this. So we'll go to asset actions and create a blueprint using this. I'll just save it inside the content, so I'll just say just in the name bp underscore castle main. Now once I save this, our castle should show up inside here. So to go ahead, I will go and select all of these gates, so gate left, right, back and front, and just drag and drop them here and they should go to the right places automatically. Now I will compile this and we will head over to our event graph. Now we will focus on our front gate to start with, which should be this one right here. And inside the viewport I will add a collision box. And let's say in the details tab on this side, I will set its axis to about perhaps 15 on the Z axis. And then let's say 20 or say 30, and finally I'll go ahead and say about 60 on the x-axis. So this will tell us when we can open our gate. So when our player enters this area here, we will get our gate to open. In fact, on the y-axis, let's change it to 50. Now we'll compile and save this. We will head over to our event graph. Now inside here, I will select the box and down in here I'll say on component begin overlap. And we'll choose the other actor and we'll look here for actor has tag. So we will give a tag to our different players. For example, first one, so it should only open when the player trying to enter is player 1. Say it's the base of player 1. Only player 1 should be allowed to enter the space, and we'll go and choose a branch node here and we will do a check here to see this. Now when this is true, say this is our player 1 that is trying to enter, we will go ahead and drag in our gate front, make a reference to this, and I'll say add location. So add relative location, and I will drag off a node from true and say timeline. So add a timeline here, and this I will call gate1 underscore timeline. So this should update this, and we'll double click and open our timeline. I will choose a vector track here and make sure these two are locked, and I'll change the visibility of these to unvisible, and shift and click here, make sure the first value is 0. And so the timing value is 0, then shift click again. Let's say at about we want to change to value of 3 at say 3 seconds. That seems like a reasonable time. And we'll compile this and we'll go back to our event graph and we will select this new track and connect this into our delta location down here. So now if we go back, minimize this, I'll go ahead and make inside the landscape tool, just create a landscape, make sure the units for this is on the z-axis, it's set to 0. Now I will drag and drop our castle right here. Just to make it look slightly nice, I'll go ahead and select the, let's see if I can find it, the static mesh, which is the main one, I hope. And I'll choose a material here, so let's see stone. Let's say stone rough, or try a different one. Stone smooth, this is slightly better. Now to test our gate, we will go ahead and see if we have a player character. We don't right now, so I'm using the third person template in here. This uses the third person game mode. So I will go here, select a player start and drag and drop this right here. Now inside the third person BP, heading over to the blueprints, inside the third person character, you want to make sure in the details panel of third person character self, you search for tag, make sure you have a tag here saying player 1, you can add one more. I already added this one. Now we'll just run a quick test, so we'll walk over to the gate. So now it should open up as soon as we reach the gate. This has opened up just a little bit too much more than I wanted it to, so I'll go back and change the value in here. So inside the timeline, let's change this time to 3 seconds because that's as long as we have. Let's just do a quick test again just to see what happens this time. So now our gate only opens about this much. I think if I increase the time to about 4 seconds, then we should be able to achieve the exact result we were trying to get to. Okay, this is exactly where I wanted it. Now we want the gate to close as soon as we leave this area. So to do that, we will go ahead and in the event graph, I'll just drag all of these, copy and paste them here. So select all of these, just type gate 1 open, or for the sake of it, we'll say gate front, so it's more specific as to what it is. And we will select our box again, and down here we will say on component and overlap. Once again we will look for the tag, so other component has tag, and then use a branch node and then select this, and when this is true we will just do play this, and we will double click and open this track, and this time instead of a value of 3 it changes to a value of -3. So, and then we will drag a box around this and say gate front close. And just I will go ahead and add here a delay of about 2 seconds so our gate has time to open before it starts closing. So now once we enter this box, the gate should start opening, and when we leave this box, after a delay of about 2 seconds, the gate should start closing again. And if we go back in again, let's see if it works a second time. Nope, so it does not work. So heading back to our blueprint, instead of play, we'll do play from start for both of these. So this is our next test. Now we'll go in, the gate opens, we will go back, the gate should start closing, and then we will go back in, the gate opens, we will go back out, and the gate should start closing. So now it basically allows us to go in and go out, and a gate should open and close. Now to test this theory to see whether it opens for another player, we will right click on our third person character inside the third person BP and blueprints and duplicate this, and in this character we will go ahead and inside the tags we will change this to player 2. So say this was player 2 trying to enter this gate. And inside our blueprint, level blueprint, so from event begin play, I will drag out, first of all I will create a reference. So if you go ahead and select the new character we just made, drag and drop this into our scene right here. So right click, create a reference to this, and then right click, get player controller, drag a node from this and say possess, and this is the pawn we want to possess, and this will happen, say delay of about 10 seconds. So after 10 seconds we will possess this character, and we will see if the gate opens for this character as it does for our original for our player 1. Now we go ahead and play. We start with our main player 1 character, we enter this, the gate opens, we leave this, and the gate closes. Now we will leave this here. Now with this character we go in, we try to open the gate, nothing happens. So this basically allows us to only open the gate for our main character. Now I want to add in the, one more feature here. So we will go and say we will choose a state. So when the gate is locked, we can set that up here. The gate should not open for either of the characters. For that, I will go back to my blueprint inside here, add a new variable. We'll use the boolean and we'll just check to see whether this is locked. Let's just say locked and then compile this. By default, we'll leave the value to null and we will drag and drop. We'll make sure this is public and we will drag and drop this here. So we will say get locked and I'll just use another branch node here. So just to run a check, so when this is false, only then we will proceed to open the gate. Same thing down here. Not that I don't think it's too necessary, but we'll just do it for the sake of it. So this will only happen when the gate is not set to locked. Now we'll do a quick test. Now inside here we can see that locked is selected here. We'll go ahead and play. So right now the gate should open and close as fine, which seems to be working okay. Now we will select this, set the option locked, and now when we go over to our gate, it should not open or close for us or for the other player. So this is basically allows us to, because sometimes say in an actual gameplay, the second player might just be able to enter and exit this gate while we are entering and exiting this gate. So this allows us to set an option where we can keep the gate closed regardless of whether the second player is say if the second player was following us. If the gate is locked, then it would not open for us, so we can fight the player or whatever function you guys want to have in that area. So we can basically replicate the same thing for each of our gates. And then so in this castle I have 4 different gates which basically allow entry to our player. However, right now we're not able to enter this, so to fix that we'll click on our castle main, double click and open this. And right now if we go ahead and view our collision, simple collision and complex collision, you can see that the simple collision basically would not allow our player to enter this, simply because it has a full collision box. So to change that, we'll go ahead down to our collision complexity, and I think if we use complex collision as simple and we save this, now it should basically allow us to enter our gate once we set this to not locked. So if we just walk through, so long as we stay in this area, we want our gate to stay open. So let's just fix that as well. So if we go ahead to our BP blueprint, first of all to our level blueprint, we'll make sure that we don't possess a different character. And we want to go ahead and make sure that this box is not a child to this gate front right here. So we will just drag this box and drop it here. Otherwise the issue we would face is just attached to this. Otherwise the issue I was having was basically every single time the player entered this area, the collision box moved up with the gate, so it detected as a player not being present, so it was closing the gate on us. Now if you go ahead to this gate, so long as we stay inside this area, the gate should remain open. As soon as we leave this area, the gate should start closing by itself. So I will now go ahead and import in a texture I just made inside GIMP. So if I bring this texture in, all this texture is just black lines on a transparent background, just to give us a rough gate image. So I'll go ahead and create a material from this. If I open this material up, I think I'll change this to, let's say, masked, and we'll use the alpha inside our opacity mask. And I'm hoping this should just about work. Yeah, so this is about working for us. So select this, make sure two-sided is selected so we can see this on either side of the image. That's better. Now we want to go ahead, and if I remove this, we'll use our own color on this. So we'll just do, say, vector, just press V and left click, and then we'll change the name here to gate color, for example, just so we can edit this afterwards. Then we'll press S, or let's just right click, promote to variable roughness and metallic. I think these are the two values we can play around with. Then we'll save and apply this. And now we'll right click and create a material instance from this. We'll select this, we'll choose our gate front from the settings here, and as you can see we should have something on the gate now. And we'll open this up and we'll change the color to, let's say, more of a slightly darkish about here. We'll increase the roughness to just a bit, say 0.4, and we'll increase the metallic as well. Now this is just a very quick way of setting this up, and now if you go ahead and check this out, it should be working just as fine for us. So the gate opens for us. And it closes when we leave the box as well. So this seems to be working fine, and of course we can still get through without any issues. If you guys wanted to add some depth to the actual gate, that can be done inside Blender or any modeling software. Or for example, we could just one more thing we want to check is making sure that the collision for this gate is done properly. Now because this is just a plane, sometimes it can have collision issues. So let's check for collision. So just take double-sided geometry, so the traces, or basically the collision, will be detected on both sides, and save this. So this is now set up and we are ready and good with this. Next thing I'll do is I'll try and add some sound to this. So now I have also edited the gate texture. So if I go ahead and right click, re-import this, and inside if I just open this up, so this is what the new texture looks like. And inside the material, I'm just going to make sure that it's set up properly still. I wonder what happens if I just select this instead of the texture. Yeah, so I think I'll just leave it like this, and we'll go ahead and add some sounds. So to actually make these sounds, I went ahead to, this looks slightly better than the earlier one. To make the sounds, if I go ahead and import these two inside here, so I made two sounds, gate close and gate open. I downloaded a large file from the public domain, and I edited those sounds to make these ones. So now we'll go ahead and use this inside our blueprints. So whenever our gate starts to open, so let's say I'll drag these slightly forward and we'll play the sound here. So when it's true, we'll play sound attached, and we'll say this starts playing the sound, and this is our gate opening, so I'll use the open sound here, gate open, and the component we'll attach it to is the gate front itself. So we'll just copy and paste this down here. So when this is false, and let's see, so right in the middle here, so we'll select this here, and here we'll play the sound gate close, and we'll connect this to play from start. And once again, our sound origin is this location here. Now fingers crossed, we'll do a quick check to see if this is the case. So it seems our sound doesn't quite match up. But this is the thing we can play around with. We can change the pitch. We can go ahead and edit the sound or reduce the time it takes for the gate to open. So that can all be adjusted. Now the last thing I do want to do is I want to go ahead and right click here, go to sounds, and create an attenuation radius. So if I just rename this, I'll call this gate sound. And inside here, I want to set up a thing where I want it to be a natural sound. And I want the sound to fade away depending on how far away or how close you are to the gate itself. So we'll enable all of these: listener focus, air absorption, and reverb sounds, and the occlusion. and we'll go to our sounds. So if we open up both of these sounds, we will make sure that the attenuation radius, so the attenuation settings, are decayed sound. So what this will allow us to do is this will basically make the sound slightly better, in a sense that you get that feeling. So if you were further away from the gate and it opens, you would actually get to hear it from a different angle. For example, if I just look this way, it kind of opens from the left side, and if I listen to it from the right side, I hear the right sound instead. And we can always play around with these settings. So in this case I can increase this, because this is a big gate, so you should be able to hear from far away. So I'll increase the inner radius to about 1500, and now if I go close to the gate, this sounds slightly better. So this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. In the next tutorial we'll add some more flags to this, so I will show you guys how to make flags. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. This whole project at the end of it will be available on my Patreon, so make sure you check that out. And because I have made this myself, if you guys do support me on Patreon, I will put this up there so you can use this without any issues in your projects, because I will put this under a license where all you have to do is just leave a link to my content in your work, and then you are able to use this. So thanks for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.